si vieux, ça me fait penser. Tu sais, nous sommes nos propres mères. Si jeune et si sérieux, mais ça va changer. Oh, oh, oh. On passe le temps à faire des plans pour le lendemain, pendant que le beau temps passe et nous laisse vides et incertains. On perd trop de temps à suer, s'écorcher les mains. À quoi ça sert si on n'est pas sûr de voir demain? À rien. Alors on vit chaque jour comme le dernier. Et vous feriez pareil si seulement vous saviez combien de fois la fin du monde nous a frôlés. Alors on vit chaque jour comme le dernier, parce qu'on vient de loin. On se dit pire que notre histoire n'existe pas. Et quand l'hiver perdure, on se dit simplement que la chaleur nous reviendra. Et c'est facile comme ça. Oh, oh. Jour après jour, on voit combien tout est éphémère. Alors même en amour, j'aimerais chaque reine comme si c'était la dernière. Trop long quand on ne vit que sur des prières. Moi je savoure chaque instant bien avant que s'éteigne la lumière. Alors on vit chaque jour comme le dernier. Et vous feriez pareil si seulement vous saviez combien de fois la fin du monde nous a frôlés. Alors on vit chaque jour comme le dernier, parce qu'on vient de loin, 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 parce qu'on vient de loin. Jour après jour, on voit combien tout est éphémère. Alors vivons pendant qu'on peut encore le faire, mes chers. Alors on vit chaque jour comme le dernier, chaque jour, chaque jour. Et vous feriez pareil si seulement vous saviez, si seulement vous saviez combien de fois la fin du monde nous a volés. Oh. Alors on vit chaque jour comme le dernier, parce qu'on vient de loin. Chaque jour comme le dernier, et vous feriez pareil si seulement vous saviez combien de fois la fin du monde nous a frôlés. Alors on vit chaque jour comme le dernier, chaque jour comme le dernier, parce qu'on vient de loin, 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 parce qu'on vient de loin.
Tracks from abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. My name is Seth Martosh, and I'm sitting here with
Alex Troxel.
Today, we are going to be doing a special episode on Rwanda and Madagascar. If you're new to the show, TFA is a broadcast where we speak with students from U of T that come from different cultures across the world, and we get to learn a little bit about their culture, what makes them tick, and have some interesting conversations with them, musicians, professors. And although it's reading week this week, campus is a little bit, less busy than usual. There's still a lot going on. But Alex, what did we just hear to intro the show?
Well, we heard a song by Cornell. I believe I may have just butchered his name, but he's a Rwandan Canadian singer-songwriter, R&B artist from who started putting out music in the early 2000s. He operates right now out of Montreal, which makes sense because Rwandans, many of them speak French because of their colonial history, unfortunately. But if there is a positive to that, it means that many of them are multilingual. They speak the local language, the Swahili, French, English, and that was the case for Skylar, who we spoke with today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Seth?
Yeah, no, Skylar from Rwanda. He talked to us about his playwriting, about his fashion sense, and love for classic Hollywood. He came in with a really nice outfit with his fur jacket, if you remember. And then later on in the episode, we get to speak to Donné Roberts, who is a Malagasy musician operating out of Toronto, and his collaborator Yukiko Tsutsui, a Japanese artist. And as well on CIUT, upcoming next week is our fall fundraising week from the 13th to the 17th of November. You'll hear some testimonials from our crew here at Tracks From Abroad later on in the episode, but first we are going to start with our interview with Skylar.
You're listening to Tracks From Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
Sure. Like you've heard, I'm Skylar Petra and a student. Well, I was born in Rwanda, in Kigali to be specific. That's the capital city. And I've been in many places. I was in Uganda before I came to Canada for school in 2019.
So what led you to Uganda first?
Well, life. I would say life happened. And I went to Uganda for a few years. Then I got admitted to U of T, and I just came here for school.
Cool. Is there a lot of migration in between Uganda, Rwanda?
No, I wouldn't say it is that specific about, youth. We like to travel and see what's on the other side of the country, and that's how I just did it, because Kampala is awesome. It's a good city.
So what was in Uganda that you wanted to see?
Well, I would say life. Like, really, Uganda has, like, a vibrant life. You would think of it's New York of East Africa. Like, it's really, really busy, and they have a nice nightlife.
Cool, yeah.
I think that was one of the things I wanted to just enjoy.
Yeah. Is there not as big of a nightlife scene in Rwanda, where you're from?
It is, but not as wide as it is in Kampala.
We've had a lot of access to sort of your story because you are prolific on social media. So I saw that you really get around Toronto quite a bit too.
I do.
So is that just something that you like to do no matter where you are, or is there something specific about Toronto that you thought you wanted to see?
That's a good question. I believe I'm a social person, and one thing for me as a newcomer to Canada, so to speak, it is to make sure I understand the city I'm in. I don't want to just be here because I'm a student, but be here and be in the community. So one thing to do is to make sure I go to those spots, visit these neighborhoods. I'm obsessed with Yorkville these days, so yeah.
And where in Toronto so far have you found some of your favorite places to go out and be social?
Yorkville and the Village.
What is something that you noticed that was different between Canada and Rwanda in terms of the social atmosphere?
Well, Toronto, because that's the only city I think I've been really more than years. I was in Montreal, but it was in the winter, so I can't speak much about that. But I think Toronto is so diverse. There are so many ways you can meet people from around the whole planet, and it was really cool. Like, at least for me, the first day I was in Canada, it was so awesome to just go to the Village and talk to people from all around, not even only Canada. So I think that's really attractive for the city itself to just get along.
And what about the music scene in Toronto? Have you been to much music performances or heard of a lot of music?
Well, music, that's something, because it's really hard to talk about music. We've talked about Drake and all those guys, but again, the United States is down here, so there's that much comparison to think of what is really going on in Hollywood and what's going on in Toronto. But I would say I attended some concerts, not too many, of course, as a student, but I once went to Backstreet Boys concert last year, and that was my most amazing experience I've had, because it was really cool to see the boys now that they have grown up.
Yeah. Backstreet Men. Yeah, it sounds a little bit more menacing for some reason.
Backstreet Men.
I can see why they didn't go with that at first.
Definitely. So while you're here, you're studying cinema studies and drama, right? So what led you to those disciplines?
Well, I knew I was going to become an actor. Really, I loved that since I was young. And when I got a chance to come to school, immediately I was like, I got to do what I love the most. and that's making sure I have like professional training as an actor and see where my career can take me. So that was one thing. For cinema studies, I didn't really think about it that much. So just want something to go along with. I never wanted to become a specialist in drama. Then when I asked my academic advisor, they're like, you know what? There are so many options, but again, cinema studies at U of T, it's not like the one we know at TMU or anywhere, so that was the only thing I was not expecting, to just study theory, not practice.
And, what is it that you love so much about acting?
Well, acting is being. If you ask me, I do think me as an actor being able to tell a story of someone else, even if they are fiction or not, it's really nice. I think actors hold a sense of humanity because they have to portray those stories, and we have to tell them in a way that's supposed to be believed. And I really think that's a really nice thing to do as a person.
So I think we can maybe send it to a break. Is there any song that you'd like us to play?
There is one guy who is really famous, and his parent, one of them, is a Rwandan, Strome. I think you've heard of him. And his song, Alors on Danse. That would be cool.
Well, we'll take a listen, and we'll be right back on Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM.
Alors on qui dit études dit travail, qui dit taf te dit les thunes, qui dit argent dit dépenses, qui dit crédit dit créance, qui dit dette te dit huissier, lui dit assis dans la merde, qui dit amour dit les gosses, dit toujours et dit divorce, qui dit proche te dit deuil car les problèmes ne viennent pas seuls, qui dit crise te dit monde, dit famine et dit tiers-monde, qui dit fatigue dit réveil, encore sourd de la veille, alors on sort pour oublier tous les problèmes, alors on danse. Alors on danse, 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 alors on danse. Et là tu dis que c'est fini, car pire que ça ce serait la mort. Quand tu crois enfin que tu t'en sors, quand y en a plus, eh ben y en a encore. Et cela zique ou les problèmes ou bien la musique, ça te prend les tripes, ça te prend la tête, et puis tu pries pour que ça s'arrête. Mais c'est ton corps, c'est pas le ciel, alors tu te bouges plus les oreilles, et là tu cries encore plus fort, mais ça persiste, alors on chante. Alors on chante. Alors on chante. Alors on chante. Et puis seulement quand c'est fini, alors on danse. Alors on danse. Eh ben y'en a encore. Eh ben y'en a encore. Eh ben y'en a encore.
Welcome back to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. Today we're here in the studio with Skylar from Rwanda. Skylar, I saw also on your Instagram you have a wide plethora of outfits and fashion sensibility. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your style and kind of where you get that inspiration from.
Sweet. Well, it's a style, like you said, and I tend to dress myself. Too bad I don't make the clothes I wear, but I dress myself and I like to stand out, really. Like individual, I know there are so many trends that everyone can follow, but there's something about dressing up what is really comfortable for you, and that's what I always go for. If you have seen like Instagram, really, I have so many colors.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do because it's nice to just wear colors and make a day brighter. And me standing up doing that, I know it takes a bit time to decide what to wear. But I have done this quite a while and I no longer think about it. I just go in the wardrobe, choose and dress like that. As long as,
So it's fast for you.
it has become really fast about it.
That's good. Because, I mean, I know at least for myself, if I in the morning, I will put on like 5-6 outfits and I'm like, no, and I take it off and then I put on nothing else. So it's good to know, like, you just go with your gut and you just pick.
Oh, not every day. I am like you, even more than 10. I can even be late, like 1 hour.
Yeah.
Why are you late, Skylar? I'm sorry, I'm trying to find some piece of clothes to wear on, but that depends on special occasions, the events and the stuff.
When you say it's about feeling comfortable, is that just about like how the clothes feel on you, or also how they look on you, or what is that?
I would say both, but mostly how they look on me because I tend to dress for myself and feel like great. I'm waking up, I'm alive, it's a beautiful day, I gotta dress well for that, and yeah.
How do you feel when somebody compliments your outfit? Is that like a...
Oh man, in Toronto, they do that a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I'm getting used to it. Yeah, it's really awesome, like the way they just appreciate the effort, and I think that's why they compliment someone for dressing up to like an effort, and I have gotten really quite a lot of compliments. Now I think it's a thing. I might become a model very soon.
Is that something that is more present here, you think, than in Rwanda?
Definitely. Oh no, Torontonians are really, really, really open at giving compliments.
Okay.
They don't shy away about it. They don't even feel bad. They just feel great. You look great. So that makes me happy.
I'm pretty sure you won a playwriting competition for university college?
Yeah.
So could you tell us a bit about what drew you from acting to playwriting?
Oh, that's interesting. How did you know that? But okay.
We have our sources.
Sure. Research. I mean, no. For that, I write. I have been rewriting since I was young. I actually wrote like a poetry book when I was back in Kampala, like with my phone, taking time to take a break, and I write a poem based on what I'm seeing in the city. Yeah, they really have so many struggles, so it was easier for me to find inspiration and write about stuff. But I like writing. I write as a hobby. I'm still even writing right now. Sometimes I can show you my notes. There's so many things there. But for that play, I co-wrote with my classmate who's my graduate. And the goal was to write something that we felt really connected to, and that was sense of home. And as being immigrants and coming from abroad, it's nice to talk about it and how it is hard to just, settle in. And I don't think it's everyone who get a chance to settle in the city like Toronto. It's like so fast and it's so developed, you can say that. So what does home really mean? And we had to talk about that. Yeah.
As a writer, do you ever think, what word would be really great here is this word in French or this word in Swahili or something like that, and then you need to try and find, but I'm writing this story in English. I need to find an English word for this. Is that something that's easy to do, or do you sort of struggle to find?
I never struggle when I'm writing. And actually the play you talked about that won like the first place. I think that was one of the things, because when we were writing it, me and my friend, she's originally from Iran, it was so easy to write like free expression. She could write from her mother tongue, like completely there. We don't need the translation. And so I did it in French, and some words in Kinyarwanda. We leave them like that. So I think maybe when they read, like, the judges were reading to like, these kids can write. Because we don't want to change it. They gotta be real, authentic, so to say.
Right, so your play had a bit of multiple languages in it.
Yeah, it does. Like,
cool.
I even did like 10 minutes of it on my last class I had, Black Playwrights, and we had to perform it. So the instructor was like really happy to see that we could speak 3 languages at the same time, and we were like juggling it. It was so fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
What language did you find the most difficult to learn?
I would say Kiswahili, because up to now I don't think I really speak it at its best. Like the locals who were born like in Tanzania, people who speak it originally. Yeah, I think that's like it's really hard for me.
Yeah, learning all these languages and learning music from all these different places. Do you have another music recommendation that you'd like to share with us?
Sure. I don't think I can talk about Rwanda, really. I have one because he's my favorite artist, really. He's in the USA right now. His name is Medi. We can play one of his songs called Slowly.
All right, well, we're going to take a listen to Slowly by Medi on Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM, and we'll be back after the break.
Do you believe in love? How crazy it could be, baby, stop. Take it easy. When you would leave, I swear I can't breathe. Do you really care, baby? Even wonder your home myself. You are my fantasy, my only desire. I could take it as an unusual. Bitumana Cynthia, she make me fall in love. Darling, if you touch me one more time, I might lose my mind. Baby, it's too much here. Can we go slowly? 'Cause I can't take it. 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 Give me your attention. 'Cause you got my affection. Baby, so good to taste ya. Took you now step by step on the beat. Put your night hand in hand in the street. Sing it. You are my fantasy, my only desire. I could take it as an unusual.
Hello, and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad on
Darling, if you touch me one more time, I might lose my mind. Baby, it's too much here. Can we go slowly? 'Cause I can't take it. 'Cause I can't take it. 'Cause I can't take it. By my way, yo, this way, yo. Cause I can't take it. 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 Oh, ooh, yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. I'm Alex. I'm here with Seth as usual, and we're talking to Skylar today. Skylar, is there any music from Rwanda that you think has influenced the global music scene?
Well, one would say so, but yeah, that can depend on whoever you ask. But to me, I do think in Rwanda, it's a new country. Like, there was a war in 1994, so like the life has restarted again after that's like 28 years now. But we really do have like the local artists who shape the music of the whole country itself. We have like one really nice group that was, I remember when I was young, they are called the Tough Gangs. They like shaped hip hop of the whole country. Like after that, kids went into music, they sang, like they were so inspired by them. And then after that, like I was talking about that, Mehdi came in. He was like a really interesting guy, and then he sang. We have the band. There are so many artists who really shape the music in both ways. But again, they have so many traditional singers who sing the local traditional music, which I can't speak about, fortunately. But yeah.
What do you think is the cause of the rise in popularity of, like, I think Afrobeats and African music in the West and in North America over the past couple of years? Because I mean, it's definitely been coming more and more into, you know, the general scene on the radio, and African artists are becoming much more popular, you know, selling out shows all around the world. What do you think has, you know, brought that about?
Well, actually, I don't think Rwandans have gotten a chance to pop up the way like we see Nigerians doing it around the world. Like if you compare Nigerian music to the ways they just come here to compete, they are not here to play simple games. So that's something I do think Rwandan artists should be doing right now, to make sure they produce original music. Because I think in my experience, you could do some folks that try to copy the Western vibe. Then once that's in the country, will be a hit song, but you're not come to compete with Usher. You can do that. You gotta create something so unique. And so a few people do that, but I do think we do have guys who try to do it. But again,
Is there anything from Hollywood that's inspired you? I feel like that would be a connection to your acting.
Hollywood has raised me. Not that I'm from LA, but growing up watching the films, like the American movies and the music, I can talk about Hollywood music than I can talk about the whole Rwandan music. And yeah, people who know me don't like that. But again, it's music. And I like Hollywood too, so yeah.
What's your opinion then on, like, I feel like this is something I have to ask all cinema studies students. Like, what's your favorite movie or your favorite movement of Hollywood? Is it like the old stuff, the new stuff?
I'm glad you asked, because I bring that everywhere I go. I do think, yes, we have current artists who are great, but I kind of miss the good old days. Like, you play music from 70s. It's a Friday night, Saturday evening, you're getting ready to step outside for whatever reason, and you play disco music. It sounds so cool, and you just want to stay there and dance. But I have not seen a song of these days, let's say, in 2020 and up, or a bit 2014 and whatnot, a song that could just last 1 month. Like, be there with the people loving it. Stars just come, sing, and go. It has become a competition. It has become like pretty much of financial gains. And to me, that it kills the art. But you go back before 2012, you play a song, people still listen to it like as if it came yesterday. And to me, that's something I wish we could bring back in the music. But again, everyone is singing.
I think we're sort of getting towards the end. We generally like to ask, if someone were to go to your home country, Rwanda, what is something that you think they should experience? What's something that they should see?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to give you a summary of how good it is. It's a really small country. Believe it, it's really small, but it's so beautiful. You can go there. It's quite expensive in the city, but you lived in Toronto, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, but it's nicknamed a country of 1,000 hills because they have so many hills in the mountains.
Yeah.
One thing I would just recommend is just to go to National Park of Volcanoes. They have like really awesome things to see with your eyes. We have Akagera National Park, so wild animals and stuff. But the city itself, like the landscape, the country in general, it's really nice. And by the way, they have the best coffee. Probably the second best coffee in the world. I don't know. They have been getting so many
Very good,
provisions. Yeah, if you like coffee, yeah, you go to Rwanda.
Going into the final break then, is there another recommendation that you'd like to give us?
Any song from the band?
From...
The band. The band is like one of those guys who shaped R&B in Rwanda. So, yeah.
Amazing.
That sounds great. We'll be listening to the Ben in just a second. Just before that, I want to thank you again, Skylar, for coming and talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next week.
No other idea. Kwesheba with the band in another feeling. Nessin production bet. Tuchukube fembi. Una nyuma kota vera nagalale. Mr. Ruba ya make my day. Lava o banji ba mubonana. Na yevera bibesi asose. Yerekera ofasi. Pulira mu faraku basike mogangu mutya. Sirina sente kubulungi bwala bikasasula bangi mutya asina bwala komumiri walwayo resula muchikiri oh lwatazimbire kana yamaso gegendo tamubuliri I love the way you bend down low slowly you bend my heart jagala musimane owulira about my love oh binkolera buli kyakola kinkolera bila bima binkolera byayogera binkolera arangorera ibyakoze byose nde birankorera right no arangorera now do binkorera baby girl you know I wanna stay I swear I never wanna live without you mutima wanje wawujanye butazawugarura mama darling I take you Mumbai yeah. Mama, darling, I promise to never go. Again, but all I know she cannot do blunder. She makes me surrender, but everybody tell me no wonder. Again, but all I know she cannot do blunder. She makes me surrender, but everybody tell me no wonder. Binkolera, buli kyakola kinkolera. Biba binyuma, binkolera, byayogera binkolera. Arangorera, ibyakoze byose nde birankorera. Right no, arangorera, now do binkorera. Bono yakoma omuliro parafini, efibate chloroquine. Tamala masasi mu magazine, tagwa amani ngaluvirirwa katwanga. Uno Batman blaster, bumoita senya kukuba igno. Angamba nkuyambe ncha bosi lero nga sirina mbuzi photogenic newe sikola pose watazuko kenjobe tawana melody the way you bend down low slowly you bend my heart jagala musingane mubulira about my love binkolera buli kyakola kinkolera biba binyuma binkolera byayogera binkolera arangorera ibyakoze byose nde birankorera right no arangorera now do binkorera binkolera arangorera binkolera binkolera arangorera.
Hello, and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad on CIET 89.5 FM. I'm Alex, I'm here with Seth, and you just heard our interview with Skylar. Big thanks to Skylar for the great interview. I really thought he embodied the glamour of the glamorous age of Hollywood, and his ability to write successful plays in English and Kinyarwanda was really impressive. We also want to thank you, the listeners of Tracks from Abroad. This is a very important time for us to be thanking you, but it is still earnest.
Yeah, totally. On that note, as we mentioned before, we are close to the fall fundraising drive at CIUT, and it begins on November 13th, and the goal is to raise $100,000 to support the station and its programming. Our show, Our show, Tracks from Abroad, relies on CIUT to amplify the diverse voices that we've done for the past 2 years, and it's entirely run by student volunteers like myself, Alex, and our board tech, Matthew, who we are going to hear from his testimony and why Tracks from Abroad is important to him.
Hi there. I'm Matthew, and I'm the board tech for TFA this year. You may have heard my voice on the Scotland episode that aired during Thanksgiving, and I'm now going into my second year doing Econ, Math, and CS. I'm real thankful I got to volunteer with TFA this year, because I was actually an editor last year, and now I'm getting experience with the station hardware. I'm also really glad I got to meet a bunch of cool people, such as my guests and my coworkers, and I'm really hoping that, you can give us what you got, and we'll give you what we got as well.
Exactly right, Matthew. We will give you what we got, and we need your support to help keep this one-of-a-kind community station running for years to come. So please, if you can commit an early donation today to kick off our fundraising drive this fall, that would be amazing. Next in the show, we talk to Donné Roberts and Yukiko Tsutsui from Madagascar and Japan, respectively. We speak about their musical collaboration in Baobab Cherry and a little bit about, how challenging it might be to be boxed into the definition world of music, but we're going to hear from them right now.
So we met through friends, of course, and Yukiko is a singer-songwriter from Japan, and I have a friend here who's also from Japan. His name is Ken Yoshioka. He plays harmonica, and I played with him a lot before. Then he introduced me to Yukiko, and that time I was looking for somebody to, like a back vocalist and somebody playing an instrument, right? So I guess it was just the right time, right place and the right time and the right person. So it just worked out, and we start working together. So Yukiko started joining my band and also start working with her stuff. And after that, then we decided to do a little bit of both. So maybe do a little something else, like not my project, not her project, but kind of a duo. And we did a little bit of a tour in Japan, for example, with that duo. We do still perform in Toronto as well. The name is Baobab Cherry, which is Baobab represents kind of Madagascar. Mm-hmm. And cherry is like cherry blossom kind of thing. It's just like Japanese.
Do you guys find that being in Toronto specifically, it's a place where, a lot of international music, fusion, and different types of genres come together and, you meet people from all around the world?
Absolutely, yeah. I think Toronto is the place for that. Even the people who work in my band, for example, it's all people from different part of the world, right? Like Yukiko, for example, from Japan. Paco Luviano, he's bass player, he's Mexican. Sometimes we work with Miriam Toller, she's Egyptian. And Max Sennett is from Toronto. David Woodhead, he's bass player, he's from Montreal. Alexander Brown, who's a Cuban. Again, Kevin Turcotte from Sudbury. Justin Q from Mississauga, and Chris Adrians, he's also from Toronto. So it's kind of a mixture of people, and actually it makes the music sound slightly different in a good way. Let's say originally it's Madagascar song, right? But we all play together, and it has its own shape, which is the Toronto shape, I guess, of it.
I used to live in BC and Alberta, and I think Toronto is the most diversity place. Of course, like some places like Vancouver, there are lots of immigrants. There's international people there, but not much as here. Toronto is the most diverse city.
Is it ever frustrating in that being grouped with world music as a whole? Because there's so many different types and flavors of world music. You could have Irish folk music that's called world music, and then music you're making is called world music. Is that frustrating to sort of have your music put together with different types?
To me personally, I have no problem at all to be called world music, because what I do, it's actually world music. It's no longer Madagascar or Malagasy songs 100% anymore. It's more like world music in my case, because I have all these people working with me. And again, when we play, it's like they play with their taste, with their habits and stuff like that. So, for example, if you hear us performing with Yukiko, for example, on one of my songs, she would sing in Japanese. So she brings something Japanese into the Malagasy song, right? When I work with Miriam Toller, she's Egyptian, and you will hear some of those melodic lines, like kind of things like, so it makes it like you can hear that that's not Malagasy thing. So when I play with Matthias and he plays on the percussion, for example, I could see. So he plays the same thing, but his own way, which is very close and it's almost the same, but it's just slightly new than just a regular Malagasy song.
I'm kind of always confused. What's the definition of world music? For you guys, Japanese could be a world music. Everywhere outside of Japan could be world music. But I'm sometimes confused. Should I just put it down J-pop or world?
Yeah, it's a bit of like a confusing kind of label to have because, like you said, I guess wherever you're coming from, a foreign type of music or genre can be considered. So, do you see that being more of an issue now, or has that always kind of been the case? In terms of, those genres blending together and there being such a wide variety, is that pertinent on the evolution of music today, or has that always kind of been the case when, new genres are being created?
I don't know. I think new genre has always been created. I think so. Also, there are still tons of cases when there are musicians from the same Madagascar, from Japan, from Mexico, and they're playing funk or they play blues. And I mean, you would never know that this guy's from Madagascar or from, just a band, which is great players playing blues or playing jazz or something, right? So at that point, I guess it doesn't have to be world music. I like to, for example, I have my own little style kind of thing. So even if I play blues, I would not play the classical blues. I have my own little thing that, it doesn't become like Malagasy thing, but you might hear a little bit of a melody here and there kind of thing.
We're going to go to a music break shortly, but is there any song that you'd like us to play from your collection or just generally?
Sure, you could go ahead with Seihei no.
So we're going to have a listen to Seihei no from Donné's recent album Oya, and we'll be right back after a short music break.
You're listening to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM, and we've been talking with Donné and Yukiko. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the songs that you guys have collaborated on, like Seihei no or Yukiko's song Inori?
Seihei no, actually, Yukiko is singing a lot of vocal tracks on that song. But I wrote that song, and the song is about living in a big city where you don't have no time for nothing, like running around all the time. And sometimes some people get lost, and they feel that they don't have no friends, and there's no escape and all that kind of thing. So the song is saying that sometimes you need to step back, take a deep breath, and just look around and to, and call your friends. And actually, they will be happy to see you and to hang out with you. But you just need to reach out to them, and so kind of like never think that you're alone. There's always friends out there, and they will always come and be happy to see you. So that's the song about, kind of. But it's very important to take that little step back and think about it and do other things rather than just run.
Yeah. Is that something that you feel you've seen more of, that sort of like isolation in Toronto compared to other places that you've lived?
I think so, yeah, because it's busy and there's always a lot of things to be done, and it's a big city, so you have to go far, and once you go to somewhere, it will almost like take the whole day, right? It seems like there's no more time for friends or the people that are close to you kind of thing, but I just came back from Madagascar, and the lifestyle is completely different there. There's always community around you. You leave your home to go to work, for example, or to go shopping, whatever. By the time you get to work, you kind of end up talking to like 5 people or 10 people, and when you go home, and exactly the same way, before you get home you will end up talking to like so many people. But of course it's a little bit slower paced. If you finish at work at 5, you probably get home at 7 or something, even though the distance is not that long, but it's the time that you kind of spend before you get home and the people you talk to and all that. So I think in a way it's kind of good because you always talk to someone and that kind of thing.
Has being exposed to different cultures, is that something that informs your songwriting and informs what you want to sing about?
When I came here, I felt like isolated, as Donné said. So I wrote a song about I feel like outsider. And I really wanted to make a really kind of funky rhythmic song, which is totally different from my first single, Inori. This song, Outsider, it's not yet online, but I'm working on it. It's a very like, I feel outsider here, but I'm gonna be strong. And as a female, like in Japan, female is a little bit treated different from here. It's getting better, of course, but still struggling like our position as a woman, because male is always like in advantage, right? So I put that kind of essence as well, and I'll live stronger. Like even I feel outsider. That's the feeling I found in a different country, and also it's same situation for new city or new everywhere.
Well, speaking about, different countries and other cultures, today I wanted to ask you a little bit about your time in Russia. What was that like living there and, having the first kind of part of your career starting there?
So, yeah, actually at the beginning, we lived like Malagasy style. Like at some point, we just listened to Malagasy music. That's kind of one of the reasons I kind of still know. And people ask me, how do I know to play Malagasy music? And I could play something that really deep village of Madagascar. But the reason is because I listened to Madagascar music at some point, because we would eat like Malagasy, the same food, like everything, because I live with my parents and stuff, right? So we try to make our home like fully Madagascar, right? As much as possible. So because of that, I know the Malagasy thing, and we would hang out with only Malagasy people at the beginning. But then, of course, after that, I start kind of opened up, and my older brothers will introduce me. He would say like, hey, come on, enough listening to the Malagasy things. You're already not in Madagascar. Check something out. So actually, he introduced me to like other music and stuff. Yeah, so that's how I ended up meeting and hearing all kinds of culture being in Russia.
Is there a specific song from Madagascar, from Japan, that has meant a lot to you in your creative journey, in your musical journey?
Most likely, I'm influenced by North American pop and rock. I used to listen to North American rock a lot. But I think I would say Japanese singer-songwriter like Yumi Matsutoya. She's a big, famous Japanese songwriter. And also Miyuki Nakajima. She's also one of the biggest singer-songwriters in Japan. Also, Kyu Sakamoto's. I think everybody knows this song, Sukiyaki. I think Japanese music basically has lots of melodic elements, but I think those melodic essence inspired me a lot, and that's actually connected to Malagasy music, which Donné really loves. Madagascar has lots of beautiful folk melodies. I just felt the differences is like Japanese audiences tend to listen, just be quiet and just listen. Here, people want to enjoy together and people sing together, dance together. Once I invited Japanese folk traditional singers in Alberta and BC. And at that time, what I found is here, I found people more excited when they have a drum, the rhythm. Some Japanese traditional folk song only goes with flute and sing. That's it. So people get a little bit bored. And once drum started, people are like, okay.
And I think to people who don't know that much about music, when they hear something, I think rhythm is something that catches their attention because it can be so obviously different. Like if you have grown up in Canada and then you hear African polyrhythms, it's something so clearly different that it really catches your attention.
In my case, I have, of course, I love something like Joe Satriani's and stuff like that, Malmsteen. That was when I was into, I want to learn how to play guitar, like rock guitar fast and all that things. But I still like other guitar players like Al Di Meola and Paco de Lucia, those classical things. And at the same time, Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon, and back in the days, I would spend days and days to learn how did Paul Simon play this song, like The Boxer, for example, or some of those ones.
Is that just off of listening to it and trying to repeat it?
Yeah, I learned mostly by ear. Later on, I went to school to study how to read music, but mostly at the beginning, it's mostly by ear. So.
Yeah, maybe before we go to a music break, is there something of those songs that you mentioned that have been really important to you? Is there a specific one that you would want us to play?
I wrote the Japanese lyrics for Donné's album. One of the songs from the last album, which is called Marie Jose. And he asked me can you write the Japanese lyric? Okay, what kind of lyrics is that? Peace and love. Okay. That's the thing. Well, once the night ends and the sunrise, new day starts. That's what I wrote in the lyrics. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, Donné and Yukiko, for coming in today and, being able to speak with us. We're going to listen to Mary Jose from Donné's album Oya on CIUT 89.5 FM. You're listening to Tracks from Abroad.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much. 今日いい天気だよね。
今日はめちゃくちゃいい天気で、今日朝からジャンクションの朝一
あ、そうなんだ。なんかいいの。
and welcome back to Tracks from Abroad on CIUT 89.5 FM. We just heard 2 songs from Donné's latest album, Oya, and you can catch him playing some of those songs, I'm sure, at the Drum Taverna on November 15th.
And we wanted to just thank Donné, of course, Yukiko, and Skylar in the first half of our episode. Thank you for coming on and sharing your stories with us. And as well, from us at Tracks from Abroad, we want to thank the incredible team that makes it possible. Thank you to editors Simon and Rosa. Thank you to board tech Matthew, who you heard earlier in the show. Thank you to the directors of the show, Elizabeth, Jesse, and our social media managers, Akshita and Isabella. You guys all make such a huge difference, so we want to thank from me, Seth, and from Alex. Keep up the good work, and we'll keep doing this every week.
Absolutely. So we'll leave you today with Yukiko's Inori, one of her songs, and after that will be Indigenous Waves. So thank you again from all of us, and have a good night.